Hey rats, you ready for a ratitude check? Cause I am. Today is like a advice segment. I asked in the rat chats on Instagram if anyone wanted any advice on or whatever on some stuff. We're gonna do that. LOL, we have to talk about last week though. So last week was the first time I didn't put up an episode ever since starting this podcast, and I really thought it was gonna be for a better reason than I'm a chicken. Like I really thought it was gonna be like, oh, life is busy. Like I'm a famous actor. I can't put the podcast up this week, right? Like something like that. Something crazy. No, it was my fear of the Bridgerton fans. And that instinct was correct, by the way, because I posted a video, just a TikTok snippet. I was like, I'll just sum up my thoughts and put it on TikTok. People get kind of weird. And the second I start getting weird comments is when I, Taylor, am like, you know what, I don't think this is worth existing. Like it's like, because then every time you turn on your phone for the next 2 days, you're kind of like scared about like what you're gonna see, like someone being like, you're so wrong, like blah, like the person that said like, the people who didn't like season 3 didn't deserve season 3. It's like stuff like that. It's like that's weird stuff to like come in contact with when you like turn on your phone. So half the time I just decide to delete that kind of video. I'm like, you know what, it ain't worth it. I'll summarize my hot take, and all I was saying last time was what I'll say to you again now is, with art, which that show is, like TV, film, dance, all of that is art. Books is art, songs are art. All of that is like art, right? The arts. And it is good to critique the arts with love, which is what I was doing. Like Bridgerton, I love Bridgerton. I still very much enjoyed that season. I don't regret watching it. Like it's not like it's bad. It's just not as good as the other ones. And there's a lot of interesting things to flag that people on TikTok have been flagging. And the only thing I was going to like add to that was just, the odd 2 cents here and there. But in general, that I don't think they leaned into their love half as much as they should have. And I think they missed out on an opportunity for a moment about the power dynamics in a couple like that, like her being cooler and more powerful than him. I think we could have just gone deeper there. Instead, she kind of like apologized really quickly for being Mrs. Whistledown, Lady Whistledown, and I'm like, no, it's pretty cool what you did. Like, I don't know if we need to be like fully apologizing for it. I don't know. So anyways, didn't post that episode of the podcast, and that's why we didn't have a podcast last week. So my bad. I am a chicken. Do you know what else is starting to freak me out? In the rat chats, I'm noticing, like, I think some people are leaving because they're uncomfortable with how close I'm being with the rats, but that's what I thought those channels were for. Like, I don't know, like, I thought that was for, this is where, like, the rats hang out. Like, every influencer would have their own, like, zone of, like, people who are very engaged in that community. And, like, we're a community, like, we're the rats. So I thought, perfect, in the rat chats, I'm free to post anything, like voice notes, anything. But every time I post a voice note, a good chunk of people leave the group, which I totally understand and respect. I'm very annoying, but I am starting to, like, note it. And I'm like, okay, I thought this was like a safe space where the rats were, So that's been stressing me out a little bit too lately. I'm also excited. I've got a new TikTok series. Also, I'm doing laundry because that's Zach's fault, but I had to podcast. So if you might hear it's going to do the really loud thing. Hold on. Sorry for the noise. But basically, I'm excited. I'm starting a new series on TikTok. I still don't really know what to do with my social media in a sense. Like, I obviously love skincare and makeup, but I also want to do comedy, and I also want to continue the smell the armpit aspect of how I engage online is by being very real and hopefully helping out the average rat in feeling better about themselves. Like, I'm very passionate about that. As you guys know, we've got the smell the armpit theory, the thesis really to this entire existence that I put out online. Like don't compare yourself. You're beautiful as you are, all that shit. But then there's also like that other hand of like wanting to change the odd thing. And that's what this series is really going to be. So I'm excited to like explore that further, I guess. I will say, I think I'm exiting my flop era. Let me tell you a mantra that I've been doing. It's on TikTok. I don't have the creator's name, but it's so the mantra I should get the creator's name. Maybe I can put it in a story or in the rat chats. Like someone remind me. Anyways, if you want to follow that creator, but the mantra is, my mind is worth millions. I don't work for money. Money works for me. I don't chase. I attract. What belongs to me will simply find me. My name is being spoken of by the most successful people. and everything is working out for me. Something like that. Anyway, I've just been repeating that every morning. So the laundry is so freaking loud. I wonder if it's loud for you guys. I've been repeating that every morning, and it's been good. It's been good. I think it's been helping me exit my flop era. All right, let's get into the advice people were asking. So the first one is how to be social when you just want to be an in-the-house rat. I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it written in front of me. I just checked the rat chats. But, okay, I don't have this one figured out. I'm not social. I don't enjoy being social. Now, I don't know to what degree you're referring to as being social, because obviously as humans, we need a certain aspect of socialness in our lives. But something I'm okay with is like my level of like social and like the social I'm comfortable with. I don't like parties. I've never liked parties. I always don't want to be at parties. The second it's like midnight, I really want to go home. I don't like late nights. I'm not that social. I like one-on-one conversation, a group of 2 to 3 people having a conversation in a calm environment. I like that. I like humans. I like talking to humans. I like talking to my friends. The second it's a party, I'm stressed, I feel like I don't belong, and I want to be at home. So I think there's like this balance of like respecting that. You know, like if you're a rat that's like, I want more, then yes, we'll the second half of this will be helping you seek more. But I just want to note that if you're a rat thinking you need more, it might not be true, right? Like, who says we have to like going out to a room that has 30 people in it? Who says? You know, like, who says you have to like drinking, or you have to like parties, or you have to like whatever it might be? Like I don't know. Again, without specificity, I maybe this is just like having trouble being social by going out to coffee with people. And in which case, another note I have there, this is like tea, but like something I've learned as I've grown up is like sometimes it's the people. Like if you don't feel comfortable going, why do we automatically blame ourselves? Sometimes you gotta look at the person. If you don't want to hang out with this person, it might not have anything to do with you being social. It might have everything to do with the fact that this isn't a great person for you. And that's something to look into, something to analyze. Something that might help with that is making sure there's always a third person to help diffuse that, or just cutting out toxic people. Always a good idea. But we don't have to be social. Now, if you want to be social, but you're finding it troublesome to go out, I would try to make a list of the things you think hold you back. Like, let's say it's like my clothing, or it's my dietary restrictions. Valid, it's my disease, it's driving there gives me anxiety. So, like, write down the list and try to pinpoint what the thing might be. And this reminds me of the Rachel episode where she gave us like actual therapy tips. And it's like, for example, if it was the car one in that scenario, then therapy might be helpful, right? Like if you're finding it hard to get in a car to go out, that's when therapy might be helpful. Right? Because we don't want to be held back by our anxiety in life. Anxiety is really natural. There's nothing wrong. You're totally valid for having it. I have a lot of my own anxieties, but we do have to act on the ones that stop us from getting out into the world, obviously, and living the way we want to live, right? So if we look at the clothing one, that's less serious, right? Like you need to find an outfit that makes you feel really good about yourself. And that might help you get out the door, right? So lots to consider here, right? Another thing that might be holding you back is the environment. Like maybe you're always getting asked out to things you don't like going to. Like for example, maybe you're being asked out to go to dinner and you don't have a lot of money right now. So maybe just skip those things and you make the plans. And next time be like, hey, who wants to come over for a board game night? Right? Maybe if leaving the house is hard, start that way. Invite people to your place. Maybe that would be like a helpful thing. Now, if you don't know a lot of people and you're trying to get social to make friends, joining clubs can be really helpful. I know a lot of podcasts actually have their own like Facebook groups or like Instagram pages, and people actually have meetups because they like the same podcast. That happens like a lot. Or podcasts do live shows, so like getting a ticket to like a live show and then meeting people who like the same podcast as you, that could work. That's kind of like low-key overly creative of me to say. Like that's maybe not the easiest first step, but like joining clubs, I was trying to think of something free because joining clubs can be expensive, so I understand that. But if it's important, then it's something worth budgeting, totally. Start to track when you like going out, right? Like start to track, when do I not hate leaving my house? That's what I had to do with myself, because there was like a lot of scenarios where I just didn't want to go out and I was like, what's that about? But then there's things that I do like. For the example, I had a baby shower this past weekend and I loved it. But that's because it was like family, like it was family in-laws, but it was, I feel very safe with family. So I really like being social with family or people like very much in my circle. So it's something I know about myself. When there's a lot of strangers there or there's people I don't necessarily know, it's a lot harder for me to go. So then maybe ask a family member to come with you if you're able to, or a friend to come with you as you try out these new groups, But it's good to note what feels comfortable and what doesn't, because I bet there are some social scenarios that do feel good. And then just lean into those. And let's circle back to the fact that maybe you don't need to be any more social. Maybe society's just telling you to be more social. But if something in your gut is saying we're not social enough, we're not happy enough, absolutely respect that. I just flagged the other thing because, society likes to push all these narratives on us, like you should like this, you should do that. And it's just, maybe it's just not for you. But at the end of the day, humans are social creatures. So yes, you do need to find some way to be social. But I hope that was helpful. Somebody asked for thrifting tips. I'll give you some good ones. I love thrifting. Number one, when you're in the car and you're pulling up to the thrift store, know what you're looking for. Know what your number one thing is. Like, oh my gosh, if I found a really awesome coat today, that'd be awesome. Start there. Because the thrift store, like what happens is people just end up in like the t-shirt section or the tank top section, which can be the most intimidating because there is so much content there. And then by the time you get through that, you're exhausted. So you're barely paying attention when you get to the thing that you actually want to find, which is like a coat. If you want to find tank tops, then you start in the tank tops. And that's cool, right? Because then you won't burn out. But essentially, there's a lot of stuff in a thrift store. And when you're first starting out, you might get burnt out by the amount of stuff in there. Like it's very like overwhelming. It can be overstimulating. You're seeing like a lot of stuff. Eventually you get kind of numb to it by going through the racks. So always start in the place where your number one thing is. My next tip is, if it catches your eye, try it on. Even if it catches your eye and you're like, oh, but you know what? Why did I think this was cute? No. Put that in your basket because that caught your eye for a reason. And sometimes we find our best pieces because we've taken a chance on something that people have overlooked, but it called out to you for a reason. So, try it on. You might try it on and go, no, yes, this is horrible. And that's cool too. But yeah, try to find, like if something catches your eye, it catches your eye for a reason. Men's section, they've got great stuff there. Half of my jeans are men's jeans and they're the best jeans I have. Belts, you can get such great leather belts at the thrift store. I love getting purses at the thrift store. I don't think I'll ever, well, that's a lie. Like I will buy a purse again in my lifetime. It's so fun to thrift purses. And yeah, definitely check in other sections that aren't just your size because through the years, sizing has really changed. So like, let's say I'm looking for something in a size 6. I will also check 8 through 10 and I will also check 4 through 5 just because time periods change and when you pull them out you might be able to see that it actually would fit you. It's just that one's from the 90s and right now you're a 2024 size 6 or whatever it is, right? Someone asked, how do you tell your best friend you don't like their partner? And I'm sorry, but long story short is you can't. Like unless there is something really, really wrong where your friend needs immediate professional help. Let's just ignore that scenario. Because, of course, in that scenario, we do what we have to do to protect the people we love, and, like, that's serious. So, aside from very serious scenarios, you not liking their partner, whether it's, like, they're very much a dick, like, like, that is hard. And there's been lots of times in my life where my friends have had partners, and I'm like, I don't know about this. I don't know if I like this person. It happens. It for sure happens. Number one thing is, though, you're not dating them. It's not about you. We can feel, I get it, because you can feel that like rage for your friend, or you can feel that panic for your friend. Like, no, what are you doing? But that's an us problem. Like until they voice that they've got a problem, this isn't about you, right? And we have to remember that, as hard as that is to remember. I think another good piece of advice in this scenario is like, if you start to openly dislike this person's partner and they stay with that partner, they're not going to tell you things anymore, right? Because they're going to be scared, like, oh, like my friend doesn't like my partner. I'm not telling my friend anything then. And then you're not going to be there for those important conversations where they might be questioning that relationship because you became an unsafe person to come talk to because you voiced something at an inappropriate time. And they might need to talk about stuff down the line. So you want to stay open to that. You want to stay ready to be there for your friend when they come to you and they're like, okay, wait, what am I doing? And then you can be like, oh, you know what? That is odd. I had noticed that. How do you feel about that? And always make it about them, because at the end of the day, it's not about you. And I get that it's tricky. I do get that it's tricky. It for sure is, it is, and it's all coming from love. Like, I'm not judging you. I'm like, I get it, because it's coming from love, but it's coming from your panic, not your friend. So you got to wait for your friend to voice that panic. You know what I mean? Or like, you got to stay available to then be able to support your friend in these scenarios, right? It doesn't mean you have to hang out with this person. Like, if you really don't enjoy hanging out with that person, stop hanging out with their partner. You know what I mean? Only hang out with your friend when it's just them, and maybe they get the hint that way, right? Which is tricky as well, but if it really matters to you for whatever reason, like, you don't have to hang out with someone you don't like, that's for sure. So I think that would be my advice there. I know that's not what you were hoping to hear, because I didn't tell you how to tell them, because you can't tell them. And the thing is they will rarely choose their friends. Like, when you say it out loud, they're probably going to stay with that person, and it's going to be super awkward for a while. They might even like demonize you, and then you lose a friend, and it definitely wasn't worth it. I think these things have a way of coming out. Like, bad people cannot hide forever. And I know it's hard to watch, but it might be a lesson your friend just needs to learn in that moment. Now, that I actually recently had a friend who was telling me all of their relationship drama, and it was kind of like a new relationship. They had been together 4 years. Now, okay, so I will give you like what I did when I heard stuff I didn't like. I definitely didn't pry, though, and I definitely never said, you shouldn't be with this, like, you don't do that. But like, when they would air, because sometimes people will use their friends as a mirror, and that's because you're a good friend, and that means you're a safe environment for them to question some of the actions of their partner. So my friend would say something like, it is pretty odd, though, that they haven't even told their parents about me, and we've been together for 4 months. And I would go, yeah, I mean, it's been that, eh? Okay, well, yeah, that is odd. And you can just affirm, you kind of reflect their feelings. You don't go further, But I try to really like be a chameleon with their feelings as they start to learn someone's not great for them. And that's what I did for this one friend, until eventually, we were laughing about it, and we were like, beige flag, because we couldn't figure out if this guy was good or not for her, because it was just like a lot of beige flags. But it was a comfortable experience for her to continue sharing. Like, if you're just like abrupt and horrible off the bat because you don't like this person and you're getting bad vibes, which is so valid, and it is scary when your bestie is dating someone you don't like. Like, I get it. But you want to be there to be the sounding board. So you gotta go with caution. And at the end of the day, it's up to this person, because they're the one dating them, not you, right? So you just have to be like kind of like a flexible little chameleon. And then when you find your little openings to affirm, yeah, that's not great. But, I don't know, maybe there's other good qualities. Like, I always tried to like ride the fence until my friend was like, no, I don't like this. And then I was able to be like, to be honest, that's concerning to me too. But I always let them lead the way, because it's not about me. But definitely, I'm not one to not voice my opinion when asked, but I did it with kindness, love, and respect, without drama. You know what I mean? So it is a fine balance, but you got to wait for that time when they finally get to the point where they're like, I'm not sure I like this person, and they come to you because you were good the whole time, and you were supportive the whole time, and you want to stay in the position to be supportive. So you can't say mean things about someone's partner when they're not ready, You can't really ever say mean things about someone's partner, because sometimes they get back together. You have to be very careful. Someone asked how I keep myself on a content schedule. I really like to batch content. So like, I don't make content every day. I like to pick, 3 days out of the week where I just really love to record. I come up with like some fun stuff in the morning. Like, okay, I'm going to do this today. Here's this idea, and try to turn one idea into 3 ideas. And that's usually what I will do. And then that way, if you make 3 videos a day on those 3 days, then you have 9 videos. That's more than enough for a week. And that's kind of how I do my content, because I think if I did it every day, I just wouldn't feel like I'm living like an authentic life. I like to just also be my little rat self that's not on camera some days, you know? But you might be someone who likes to be on camera every day. And honestly, I really like daily vlogs. Like, those can be a really easy way to like have content all the time. My life just literally isn't that interesting. Like, I can't even do a daily vlog. It would be the most snoozer you've ever seen. So I hope that helps. Just pick days, batch content. I love to batch content. When you look good too, like, try to come up with a million ideas. Keep making videos on those days, have very creative days, and then have big rest days. Someone said, talk about NL. Your NL friends would love to hear about it. I am assuming you mean Newfoundland. That's where my brain went. Is NL code for anything else? I don't know. Newfoundland, yes. So my dad and my whole family, pretty much on my dad's side, is Newfoundlander. Like, I'm pretty sure they've been there forever, and before that they were in Ireland. Like, we are so like Irish to Newfoundland pipeline, it's crazy. And then my mom's side of the family is like from Alberta and Britain. So they're kind of different vibes, the West Coast and the East Coast. But I love Newfoundland. I literally love Newfoundland so much. It's always been my dream to get married in Newfoundland. That didn't happen, but I did my engagement photos in Newfoundland. So that was like another neat like wedding compromise I was able to do, because my parents live there. So we have a home there and everything. And so I was like, okay, like, just, you know, we can't get married in Newfoundland, but at least I could take like my engagement pictures there. And like, that vibe is like so my vibe. I want to live in Newfoundland. When I am done being a, you know, actor and content creator, when I retire, I'm retiring in Newfoundland or Europe, you know what I mean, depending on how the funds are. But like, I literally love Newfoundland so much. I promote Newfoundland to so many people. Like, when they're like, oh, it's my first time in Canada, I'm like, have you been to Newfoundland though? And they're like, no, I just came to Toronto. And I'm like, why would you do that? Either go to Newfoundland or go to the West Coast. Go to one of the coasts. Toronto is a cool city. I hate to rag on it too much, but like, it's just not the same. I'm an East Coast girl, okay? Like, or like, I'm a mountains girl. Like, I am a nature girl. Get me back to nature, please. I love being by the ocean. I love doing polar dips in the ocean. I literally love the ocean so much. I'm terrified to death of everything inside the ocean, but my God, do I love it. I love to look at it. I love Newfoundland. Is that enough? This is a little bit of Newfoundland pride for me and the Newfoundland friends. My dad was born in St. John's. So, yeah, but my parents live now just outside of St. John's. So, it's lovely. I love going. I'm going back this summer and I cannot wait. Someone said, how to go about telling a bridesmaid you're not feeling supported? I can actually help you with this because I had to do it. So, it's interesting. It's not easy, I know, but when something hits you hard, it's like you ask those people to be your bridesmaids for a reason, right? Like, those people are your besties. You should feel very safe to be able to tell them things. And honestly, it's more important to get over whatever fear in saying it than leaving it to fester. If you leave it to like, I'm telling you, just find a really nice way to say it. Because when you leave it to fester, it's just going to get so much worse. And your friendship, quite frankly, might not survive your wedding. That happens so much. It's crazy, okay? So you just have to, you know, send the text and like something. So the advice, I had to send the text one time, you know. And my friend, being the amazing friend they phoned me like immediately and was like, oh, let's sort this out. And that's probably how it'll go for you, you know, like if it's a kind human that you're talking to. Now, I do want to just note that your friend may feel like they are supporting you and they may feel like you're asking for too much. So be ready for that in the conversation. That doesn't mean your feelings of not being supported enough aren't valid, because they are. I'm just saying sometimes the wedding process gets weird. So you want to be very self-aware, and I'm sure you are, you know, but it's very fair to not feel supported, and you need to feel supported by your friends. So I would just send the text, you know. I always am a big fan of sending things lightly, even if they hurt deeply, right? Like, it's the best way to do it. Use emojis, like, genuinely, or send a voice note so they can actually catch your tone of voice. And I just sent a text, like, I was like, hey, like, you know, I slept on it, and, you know, the thing you said the other day actually just kind of hurt my feelings. I totally know that wasn't your intention, and I know you're doing your absolute best to help me through this process. I just, I am struggling. So I think I just maybe need like a little bit more support if that's possible. And that support might look like, and give them examples, might look like not using the kind of language you just used towards my wedding. It's very fair for you to feel those things, but I just prefer not to hear them, or whatever it is. And so like you're just saying it really nicely. Bonus points if you can get some jokes in there. And I always end things like, this is totally not a big deal. I'm not upset. I just thought I would flag this because I have been feeling kind of funny and I just really love our friendship. So thought I should get it off my chest. Any rational friend should be completely fine with that, and their reaction should be, oh my gosh, really happy to hear that. The only reason I said the earlier thing or did the earlier thing is because of X. I see now that was dumb, or I think it's okay that I did that. I would appreciate it if you gave me more space to do X. I'm very busy too. Like it might go either way. So just be ready for that. I know it's awkward and uncomfortable, but letting it fester is genuinely worse, like for sure. And sometimes people just need to know how to support you. So it's good to add those examples in. Like if someone's not, I don't know what the scenario is of like how they're not supporting you, but for example, like, yeah, if they're not showing up at any of your events, for example, that's really easy to say, like, I just really love you to be there. And I would just feel so supported if you could be there. It's very easy to say these things, like as long as you're not asking for something crazy. Let's flag that. Sometimes brides and people getting married are asking for too much, quite frankly, right? So sometimes we want a little self-awareness. Like if you're doing a destination wedding and then you're also like, she didn't come on my destination bachelorette. Financially, we're asking for a lot here. So we have to check ourselves too, okay? Like, let's be real. And after you do your little self-check, feel free to voice these things to your friend. And if it's a good friendship, they will only want to be there for you and appreciate knowing how to be there for you better, Self-awareness on both sides is going to be very key here. Some people aren't very self-aware, so that's always something good to work on. I think I said that in my big sister advice episodes. Like, you need to be a self-aware person, and you probably are. But that's why when I had my things with my people, I would sleep on it. I would draft several little things. Also, make it smaller. The second you're writing something overly long, you've gone into the drama zone. Edit it down. I promise it's possible. Okay? If you're sending a paragraph, you've gone wrong. Okay? Edit. Chop that bitch down. I know you can. Make it tighter, lighter, and softer. Okay? And it'll be a lot easier to get through this situation if you can do that. Also, if someone gets reactive, don't take the bait. Don't take the bait. Just say, I can see you're upset, or no, don't say that. Hold on. I would say, I can see this didn't come across the way I intended. Let's revisit the conversation the next time we see each other in person. Didn't mean to cause a kerfuffle here. Love you lots, and I'm so appreciative of you having this conversation with me. Like, always say nice shit. Always be the bigger person, okay? Anyways, I hope that was helpful. But okay, rats, that's all the people that wanted advice from me. Fair enough. Why would you want advice from a rat? But you guys did, and I appreciate you. I actually think I have decent advice. It just might not come across that way. But I've been through many things in my life, and I think I could be helpful. So that's why sometimes I'm going to do a little cheeky advice episode. I love you guys so much. If you could leave a rating and review, that would be so sick. I'm hoping to have Lauren on the podcast, my sister, this weekend to talk about wedding regrets, which I think will be really fun. So yeah, love you lots. And that'll be next week's episode. And feel free to DM me with podcast ideas or whatever. I'm here, And love you lots, rats. That's the end of the episode.